In this video, I'm going to talk about some Yabai updates. It's been 10 months since I uploaded my last Yabai related video. I have made a few changes, a few updates in my Yabai configuration, and I just want to share them with you. There's also a few macOS myths that I'd like to go about in this video. One of them being macOS doesn't have a proper window manager like i3. But yeah, in this video, you'll see that we do have several different options. The one that I chose to go with is Yabai. It offers all the features that an advanced Linux user would expect to have in a window manager. We'll go over them in the video. I'll demo everything so you can see for yourself. One of the other myths related to macOS is that the transitions in macOS are extremely slow. And when you're switching between applications, you see those transitions. But I would say that depends on how you configure your window manager. Let me quickly show you. I'm going to go to a different app right now. I have a key map. So I just go to this application, which is the browser. I'm going to go to YouTube right now with a different key map. And as you noticed, you didn't even feel a delay, a lag, or an animation. I'm going to switch back to the other app. Notice that I'm just pressing a key here on my keyboard, my pinky. That's the way that I configured it. Let me go to Finder now so you can see that there's no delay there. I'm going to switch back to the previous app and there's no delay. I'm going to press this other key in my keyboard right now. That's going to switch me back to the third application in my history. It's just something that I configured. I'm going to press that same key again. It's going to switch me to the third application. And as you can tell, there is no delay, no lag, no animation. But that's because of how I configured my window manager, which is Yabai. If you're new to all this and you don't know what a window manager is, it's just basically how it sounds. It's an application that manages your windows on your operating system. They're most popular in Linux. macOS, they're not that known. There's a new one called Aerospace that I still have to try, and I'm probably gonna do so. A lot of you have recommended me to try Aerospace, so I will. I'll review it. I'm not sure if it's gonna offer me all the features that Yabai does, but we'll see. I'll compare them in the near future. So why do you need a window manager? For example, notice that I'm going to resize this application right now. This is my YouTube application. I'm just gonna let my mouse go, and it's just going to go back to its default size. What if I switch back to my terminal, for example? Notice that I'm in my terminal here, and I'm going to try to move it somewhere else. Let's say that I'm going to drag it here, and it goes back to the position that I specify in my window manager. So you can choose which applications you want to manage, which applications you don't want to manage. For example, I have another application. Let's bring it up. This application, Steer Mouse. I just found out about this application a few days ago. Someone in the comments shared it, which allows you to customize your mouse because the Logitech software is really bad. It doesn't work, but this tool works great. I don't want my window manager to take control of this application. I want to be able to move it around. So you get to decide which applications you want to manage and which applications you don't want to manage. So that's basically what it does. There's different layouts or configurations that window managers work in. The one that I prefer to work on is stack mode. So what that means is that I only have one application on the screen at a time because this allows me to focus way more. If you want to know more about tiled, which is the other mode that window managers work on, or stacked mode, you can watch the video that I have here. I go over everything in detail and I explain why I like stacked mode better. Notice also that you can do some advanced stuff with your window manager. In my case with Yabai, you notice that I have a different application here on the side. This is Kitty. If I press this button on my keyboard, the right arrow, which I don't use, if I press that, it's going to switch to that application on that side. Notice here at the very top of my screen that is Kitty. Every time that Kitty runs, I configured my window manager to open Kitty in that specific position. And that is the padding section that I configured in Yabai. But you can specify like this as an example. If you want an application to always show up in the same place, it can be done. So if you want to try Yabai out, first of all, you need to install it. I have a video that I made a few months ago. I created a blog post about this. If you want to set it up, go and read this blog post. If you keep scrolling down here, you're going to find all the instructions. I explain here why I use Yabai, some configurations that I apply on macOS, what is zip on macOS, and why we need to disable it. You don't need to disable it. It's something optional. But if you want your applications to be transparent, you need to partially disable zip. Not entirely, but partially, at least so that we can set the applications to transparent mode. The instructions on how to disable zip, you'll be able to find them here as well, how to confirm that it is actually disabled, and how to install Yabai. Also this scripting addition that needs to be configured, and all the details that you need to know. I go over all the details that you saw in the blog post right now, step by step, how to install Yabai and how to configure macOS before you install Yabai in this video. So you can go and check it out if you want to have it installed. If you already have it installed, you don't need to watch this video anymore. Again, I'm going to leave this video in the video description. So now let me go over a few of the updates, the changes that I have applied in my Yabai configuration. I'm pretty sure that you'll be able to find interesting stuff there that you might want to apply to your configuration as well. Let me go back to my terminal. I have a key map and that takes me there. I'm going to go to this other file, Yabai RC. All of these files are public. Where do you find them? In my dotfiles latest. Let me go to this repo real quick. If you like this repo, if you find it useful, make sure to start it. You can see that here on the top right corner. If you want to know where a file lives, you come here to the very top of the file. You're going to find a path. Notice that this is in this Yabai RC. This is the name of the file. So if you come and search here, Yabai RC, you're going to find it there. All of the files that we're going to look at today are in my .files. So first of all, the first change that I applied is that I'm loading the variables that I need from this file, yabai-env.sh. Where is that file? In the same directory. This is my Yabai RC, as you can see here. And this is the other file that I'm talking about. Here, I just specify the list of applications that I want to be transparent. For example, applications that I always want to show, even when I have a transparent application focused. So that's why Kitty shows up there on the right hand side. Some applications that I don't want Yabai to manage, I just specify them here in this list. How do you know the name of an application? If we go here to my home tmax session, for example, I'm going to type Yabai. This is the command. This is just going to show you the names of the different applications that are running at the moment. So here you can grab the name for Google Chrome, for example, or any of the other applications. So let me switch back to the other tmax session. So that's why I specify the applications here. Notice that there's a space here in the middle and it's fine. It's just going to recognize them quite well. So I just moved them to a different file because when I restart Yabai, I want some changes to be done. You don't have to have these in a different file. If you don't want to have them in this file, you can still have them in this file at the very top here, and you don't need to source this file anymore. Here is the section for the excluded applications. If we go back to the other file, you're going to notice that the applications that I don't want Yabai to manage are in this variable below. So notice what this does. This below puts those applications in the sublayer below. And why did I do this? Because the unmanaged applications were always showing on the top of other applications. So if I open my system settings, for example, I have a key map for that, as you were able to tell. Notice that this is not managed by Yabai, so I can move it around, I can resize it. So that's why I set it to below, because I can switch to my other application and it doesn't stay on the top. So that's one of the changes that I applied recently. This manage off normal. Let's see if we have something there. No, I don't have anything here. I don't have anything here in above as well. Here's where I specify custom padding settings. This is for my MacBook laptop, and this matches. This is just an else. So if it's not my Mac, it's this computer. This is where I specify the right padding. Notice that I set it to 300. That's why you see all the space here. So I just left some space there for Kitty and for my camera. So that's the padding that I was talking about. What else do we have here? This is where I specify transparency. I set it to on. I created this variable so I don't have to repeat that multiple times. You can change this if you want applications to be more transparent. You can do so. For example, I'm going to set it to 50. Going to restart Yabai. I have a key map for that configured, which is hyper U0. Or O, it's hyper UO. And notice that this is way too much. Some people may like it. I don't think so, but let me switch back. And I'm just going to restart Yabai again with the same key map, hyper UO, and a lot of different things happen when I restart, but we're back to normal. Notice that when I'm in Ghosty right now, it's transparent, but if I switch to a different application, it's not transparent. If I go back to Ghosty, I don't see those other applications in the background. I had to play a few tricks to be able to do that, and this is what does it, this line down here. This is for my application on the right-hand side, Kitty. I just set its opacity directly, and this is when I focus other applications that are not my transparent applications. I just set the opacity to 1, so they're not transparent. This is another trick that Tim Hansinger, not sure how to pronounce that, in one of my other YouTube videos shared. When I bring up mission control, notice that the applications show now. This was not the case. I didn't have this configured. So when I brought up mission control, I basically couldn't see anything. But it's because of these events. When mission control enters, you just set the opacity to 1, or when it leaves, you just set the opacity to 1 as well. So that worked pretty well. This is other setting that I would recommend you to configure. All of the applications by default, set it to the normal sublayer. This fixed the problem that I had in which floating windows with some other tools like DaVinci Resolve or other applications would show on top of other applications. So I would recommend you to set this as well. Let's see down here, what else do we have? Yeah, I set this to off. You can read why here. I didn't change this. This is the layout that I use, stack. There's the other mode, BSP, which partitions your screen. Every time you open a new app, it's just going to share the screen with the other apps. I don't like doing that. Just like having a single application on the screen. If you want to know more on why, go and watch the other video that I shared at the beginning. This is some sketchy bar related stuff. These are defaults, some settings that you can change. And this is very important as well. Leave this at the bottom, this apply, so that when you restart Yabai, all of the rules are reapplied to existing windows. So that is another trick that helped me a lot. So make sure sure you apply this as well. What happens if, for example, I want to set a new application transparent? Let's go to Chrome. Notice that it's not transparent at the moment. So let's switch back. I'm going to go to the other file, which is here. We already have the application name. We got it from here. I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to switch back to the other Tmax session. And I need to paste it here under apps transparent. Just going to type this in here, paste Google Chrome, restart Yabai with the key map that I have. Let's just give it a second. I'm in Ghostly right now. I'm going to switch to Chrome. Notice that it's now transparent. I don't see any other applications in the background. That's because of the trick that I shared a minute ago. I'm just going to switch it back because I don't want my browser to be transparent, but I just wanted to show you how you can make other applications transparent. So I just undid those changes. I'm just going to restart Yabai. I'm in Ghostly here. If I switch back to Chrome, it's back to normal. Why did I configure this key map to restart Yabai? Because I was restarting Yabai often when I was troubleshooting, doing a lot of different stuff. Let me show you where that key map is. I'm just going to press another key map, Hyper-T. That is going to directly open this file. It's just another key map that I configured. And let me look for Yabai here. So where is it? Restart Yabai. So from karabiner, which is my keyboard mapper in macOS, I just call this shell command, which restarts Yabai. So what is this Yabai restart? It's just another script that I have here. Yabai restart. It's just something that I do to have my Kitty application on the right hand side, which is the one in which I take notes. If you want to know about karabiner, how it maps keyboards, how it creates key maps and all that, the stuff that I do, you can check this video out, Karabiner Elements. I explain everything in detail there. This video is 10 months old. I'm going to create an update video for this as well because I have made a lot of different changes in Karabiner that I think you will find really useful, like tapping a single key to go to my app on the right hand side, takes me to Kitty, and going back with this other key. It's just something that I configured in Karabiner. If you're interested in an update video, let me know and I'll upload it. So what happens if you do not disable zip in macOS? Will this still work? Can you still use this window manager? Like, for example, at work, you will not be able to disable zip because probably your computer is password protected, like with a firmware password, so you won't be able to access the settings to disable zip. Yeah, you can still use Yabai. The only thing is that it's not going to be transparent. You will not be able to disable the shadows. Notice that these applications do not have shadows here on the background. That is something that Yabai does, because macOS shadows are really pronounced, we could say. They do show up a lot. So I just disabled that, like the way that it looks without shadows. So yeah, you can still use Yabai without zip being disabled in your work computer. If you paid attention when I went to my browser, you were able to tell that I have these labels that allow me to switch to different places, not only in the browser, but anywhere in macOS. And if you're wondering how I do this, for example, if I want to go to the Touch ID and password settings, I just typed AL and it basically clicked there. Notice that I can also scroll up and down. If I type the number 2 here, it's going to focus on this little section and I can scroll up and down here. I can choose a different option. There's a lot of things that you can do with this little tool. So if you search for this in YouTube, you're going to find this video that I created. Navigate all your apps without the mouse on macOS with Home Row. That's the name of the application. It's a free app. It has a paid version. So if you're interested in that, go and check it out because I think it's pretty useful, especially if you're a Vim or NeoVim user. Okay, so overall, Yabai is a pretty stable tool, works extremely well. I haven't had any issues. Well, I did have some issues. They were mainly scale issues because I didn't know how to configure Yabai properly. And if you don't set it up well, you're probably gonna hate it because it's not gonna work the way that you expect. If you follow the tips that I shared in this video, and if you apply the different settings, just go back and watch the video again. Don't miss any of them. If you follow all this, I'm pretty sure that you're gonna love the way Yabai works. I'm running the latest macOS version as of today, November 17th, 2024, which is Sequoia. I'm using an M1 based Mac Mini. I don't know if it works properly on Intel based Macs, but at least in my case, it works extremely well. So if you're coming over from Linux, or if you are thinking about switching from Linux to macOS and you're an advanced user, and of course you use a window manager, this is definitely something that you need to check out. It's going to make your life way easier. And if you like tiling window managers, I think this is the tool for the job. I don't like tiles, but there's a lot of people that love them. So you have options. Okay, I think I covered everything that I needed to cover regarding updates as of today regarding Yabai. I hope this video was useful. Let me know what you want to see next in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.